Alright, so I just got done watching the new Mortal Kombat movie, and yeah, I have no idea what happened to this movie, like at all, whatsoever. Um, it started off okay. It wasn't too bad at the beginning, um, but then as it started to go on, watching it, I'm like, oh, that was kind of random. That was kind of random, and then it gets to like the end, and it just like they just rush everything, and then things just happen that make absolutely no sense at all. And it's kind of disappointing because compared to the first Mortal Kombat movie, this movie's like fucking shit. It's terrible. I don't know what the hell happened. I have no idea what the hell happened with this movie. Who directed it? Who thought it was going to be a good idea? It just I still like legit. It's still on right now. Like the credits are rolling. Like I have to make a video about this. So here we are. All right. So from here on out, I'm gonna basically spoil the rest of the movie. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Uh, and then come back. But I wouldn't waste my time or money. But if you have HBO Max already, because you watched Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, which is great, but still, let's get to this. So, the movie starts with Hanzo Hasashi, his family, and his little backstory, yada yada. Uh, they get attacked. Uh, Hanzo basically fends off most of the dudes, kills like everyone, but it's too late. His family's already dead. Sub Zero shows up, uh, well, as Bihan, but he's not even Sub Zero yet. They duke it out. Bihan wins, kills him, and right before he dies, he like catches a flame and disappears, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we know where this is going. So then it goes to the future, and we meet up with like the main dude. I think his name was Cole. I think I'm not even sure what the hell this dude's name was, but yeah. Anyways, we see him, and he's a descendant of Hanzo Sashi. So it's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, maybe I could see this is going now. He's got the yellow. He's got little yellow band strips for his fighting. You know what I mean? Maybe he's gonna be the new Scorpion. Okay, I like this. I like this. I like. I could see where this is going. I could deal. Because before I'm like, who the hell is this new dude? This is gonna suck. But it's like, oh, it's gonna be the new Scorpion. Word. I'm totally down. Well, yeah, that doesn't really end up happening towards the end of the movie. Like, let me explain. It's just like, so Cole gets a fight, and of course, there's some old guy giving him shit, telling him that he sucks, and blah blah blah. He goes to the fight. It's a good fight. It's decent. He ends up losing, but in the audience is Jax checking him out, like, "Oh, cool," like blah blah blah. He ends up like sharing a couple words with them, and then he shows him his tattoo, and he's just like, "All right, so I know this dude's a chosen one, more or less, with Jax." So then later on that evening, randomly, Sub Zero shows up and attacks Cole and his family while they're like at some restaurant or something like that. I don't even know. And as they're being attacked by like a hailstorm of ice, Jack pulls up and he's just like, hop in, let's go. Dude, I just met 20 minutes ago. So he hops in and he's just like, oh, let me explain. I got a tattoo too. Let me show you. And it's just like, why wouldn't you just explain the shit to him beforehand? Like, if you knew he was getting attacked by an assassin at some point, wouldn't you be like, hey, bro, let me try and warn you, dudes are getting taken out one by one right now. But no, he didn't do it. You let him go off with his family. It's just like, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, now he really, after revealing his tattoo, he's just like, we gotta escape this guy because we need to uh, find link up with Sonya Blade and blah 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 blah. mentions her real quick, but then they end up running into Sub-Zero again, so he hops out the car and he's just like, "Fine, Sonya Blade," gives Cole the address, and yeah, from there he goes and grabs a gun and goes after Sub-Zero solo, and it's just like, why are you doing this? Why? You hurt my soul when you do shit like this because you're just asking to die, and yeah, he goes up there, and of course, the scene where he tries to fight him, doesn't really go down as well as he thinks it's gonna go down, and then he mentions that he had 6 tours in the Marines, and then he he gets his ass whooped even more, and his arms frozen, blasted off, and then like thrown down 2 flights of a building, and that's like yeah, the end of that. It's just like okay, what the fuck? So random, so random, and then Cole ends up taking his family to a safe spot and then finds Sonya Blade. After he finds Sonya Blade, well, he sneaks onto the premises. She tackles him. They have a little skirmish. And then she's like, oh, okay, no, you're cool, I guess, because you have the tattoo. And she takes him inside. Then they proceed to, yeah, this is like crazy. Like, it's just like, oh, let me try and explain this to you. But, like, she tries to explain the whole Mortal Kombat tournament, and then like halfway through, it's just like they just randomly get attacked by Reptile. He just comes out the cut, and like he automatically knows where they are. It's like, dude, how? How is this possible? Like, do they have like sensors on them? Each person that has a tattoo has an automatic sensory placement point on them, where like Shang Tsung knows it's like, oh, they're right here. Local GPS from Outworld places them right here, dude. Boom, boom, and they just go. It just makes 0 sense, 0 sense at all. It baffles me. And then they have a fight. Reptile leaves some of his. I forgot to mention. Sonya Blade has Kano captured in a chair, chained up, and Kano is the best thing about this movie by far. This Kano is the only thing that makes this movie good, I would say. Sonya Blade isn't bad. Jax isn't bad. Liu Kang is meh. Kung Lao is meh. Raiden is just yeah. I just don't know what's going on with Raiden. Shang Tsung is like it's like it's just sad. It's just sad. All the characters, it just makes no sense. It really doesn't. It just the more I think about it. But anyways, Kano ends up getting himself free because Reptile's acid falls down and he frees himself with the chains. But before he escapes, he gets attacked by Reptile, and joins in the 3-man fight against him. Eventually, he gets to the point where he does the rip out hard technique, and it was just like, word, that was pretty cool. Fatalities in this movie are fucking superb, by the way. Pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. But that doesn't make up for the rest of the movie. That just like it's absolute shit. So yeah, they kill Reptile and can't. They're basically like, well, we need to get Raiden's temple. Blah 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 blah. And Kano's like, well, I know what Raiden's temple is, and blah. Let's go. Not let's go, but he more or less is like, I'm not going. So Sonya Blade tries to trick him by bribing him with $2 million. He says 3. She then agrees, and then he goes inside, and then Cole is like, do you really have that much money? And she's like, no, this is where I live. Da-da-da-da. It's like stupid, corny jokes. Like it was alright. It wasn't too bad, but still, it's just like you could have tried a little bit harder. But yeah. So Kano gets his buddy that has a plane to fly them over to Raiden's temple, and he drops them off. Well, they jump out the airplane, but it's like they land 30 miles, like, or 30 kilometers away from it. Who knows? It's like not even near it. It's like, dude, why would you have your dude fly over it and then jump out? Wouldn't that make a little bit more sense? But no, they're traveling through the desert, and as they're traveling through the desert, they meet up with, guess who? Not Nightwolf, but Liu Kang. Out of nowhere, Liu Kang just comes out of the cut and he's just like, hey, what's up, guys? You guys are the champions? I've been waiting for you. like in the middle of the fucking desert, bro. Like this makes no sense. That was like my first like real big indication of like what's going on in this movie. Like the directors must have been like, oh damn, they're going to Raiden's temple and we haven't even like shown Liu Kang yet. So just let's plug him in right here. He's gonna lead them the rest of the way, and we'll be golden. You know what I mean? Like that was just like their bright idea. Just makes no sense at all. So Liu Kang brings him over to the temple, and they meet Raiden, and Raiden just immediately talks shit about everyone. Uh, it's just yeah, like it instead of being like the helpful Raiden, like video game Raiden, like I believe in you, like you know what I mean, like all that jazz. No, none of it's there. It's just like you guys are all suck. These are what I have to deal with. Like really, like it just it just doesn't land at all whatsoever. Like Raiden is just Kano again being the best part of the movies. Like oh, we're here to train to learn our special powers. Cool, we can learn our special powers here. That's awesome. Blah blah blah. And like it's just it tries, but it fails epically. It really does. So another thing is they have to have the dragon too to attain tattoo to obtain these special powers. Sonya Blade doesn't have hers yet, but you presume later on she's going to get hers. So we'll just wait around for that one. And so Sonya Blade they go to train the chosen ones, and Liu Kang and Kung Lao are like, "Hey, Sonya Blade, sorry, but you can't train here because you don't have a tattoo." And it's just like this. It's just stupid. It's yeah. It just the whole thing. It just doesn't make sense. So she leaves and finds Jax laying on like a table, and she's like, "Oh, Jax, you're still alive." And then Liu Kang pops up again. And is just like, "Yeah, I went and found. My task was to find the chosen ones, and when I found him, he was almost dead." And it's just like, bro, this just happened like 12 hours ago. So would you find Jax? You brought him back to the temple, then you went to the middle of the desert and you found the rest of them. Like it just doesn't like the whole timeline of things. It just doesn't make sense. But Jax is there, and it's just like, all right, cool. Jax is gonna get his metal arms, and he does get his metal arms, but they're like puny little metal arms that like they don't really work for me. And it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you'll get some upgraded shit at some point, whatever. You know what I mean? So on with the story. They're training to get their powers. No one's gotten their powers yet. They're at dinner. Kano starts talking to Kung Lao, and they both start talking back and forth, and Kano starts getting really pissed, and then he gets really mad, and then he shoots a little beam out of his eye, and like the Kano deflects it, and it's like, oh, I got my powers first, mate. It's just like, really, like that's the path you want to go down, like you like, oh, he got angry. That's what made his thing go off, like that's how he got his powers through the anger. It just doesn't it's so like just old and cliche and please stop doing stuff like that. Like, come on. You can do better than this. You really can. And then Shang Tsung just shows up with his squad like, all right, we're just gonna here to kill everybody. All right, Raiden. And Raiden's like, oh, you can't permit, you can't do this. This is against the law and blah blah blah. And Shang Tsung's like, yeah, whatever. Oh, the gods are too busy. They're too lazy to do anything right now. Whatever. So, yeah, attack. And it's just like, are you kidding me right now? Like, are you kidding me? How? They're too lazy. Like, that's their whole job is to maintain order in all the rounds. This is the 10th tournament that Outworld needs to win in order to gain victory. So don't you think they would be paying extra close attention to what is going on? Like, no, they're too lazy. You know, they're like in one of those eyes wide shut party. You know, they're getting blown. Like it's just like, what is happening? I don't understand it. I don't. Then Raiden's like, well, I'm gonna make this giant force field. Too bad. And Shang Tsung's like, well, whatever then. And then they just leave. And it's just like, what's the whole point of this? What is the whole point? Why can't you just have the tournament? Like, why can't you just do that? But no, they don't. It just makes no sense. And then Cole gets all depressed because he can't produce his powers. And then Raiden's like, "Yeah, you're right. You're a bitch. Here, I'm gonna make a portal. Go home. Get the hell out of here. We don't need you, cause you suck. Get the hell out of my temple, you piece of shit, garbage fighter. Get out of here." So he dips. And he's just like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what? Why? 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 Makes zero sense. Don't get it." Then, for the love of God, Kano, well, Shang Tsung is just chilling in his chambers, like mulling over things, how how Shang Tsung does, and he introduces like this new like character, like vampire like esque lady, uh, Motara or something like that. Like, oh, I was like, oh, word, cool. Like this is pretty beast, pretty badass, original character, cool. Like, that's what's up. She looks pretty, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can dig it. And then out comes Sub Zero, Cabal, and General something. He's got like some hammer. He's like the downgraded version of Shao Kahn. Let's just say that. Uh, and Cabal's just like, yo, I know this dude. I mean, not Cabal. Yeah, no, Cabal. Cabal's like, I know this dude, Kano, that's in that group. He's straight asshole. Alright, let me go talk to him. So after Cabal gets done with his little rant about Kano, in walks Prince Goro, and it's just like, oh, here he is, finally, Prince Goro. Word. Let's get this show on the road. Tournament time. But then it just immediately cuts over to Kano and Cabal talking, and Cabal's just like, yo, bro, you take down this force field, I'm gonna hook you up, bro. Alright? I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna turn Raiden's temple. I'm gonna turn it into a casino, bro. Alright? Be Los Canos. Just gonna do it. We'll make billions in the new destroyed world. You know what I mean? Like, but Kano's like, alright, Mike, let's do it. And he goes and blows up Raiden's little staff thing that's keeping up the barrier. The barrier goes down, and then Shang Tsung just comes in with his full force of attack. And yeah, Ish is going down. So Cole is at his house, right? And he hears something in the shed, which you never should go investigate. But he goes and looks, and there's smoke blowing out, and he sees Goro. He popping out the shed, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go fight him now." So Cole's fighting Goro, which I don't know why they sent Goro after Cole, the worst fighter. Send the best one after the worst one. That's what we're gonna do here, folks. Goro, the Prince, Prince Goro, the champion of the last 9 tournaments. We're gonna send him to fight the worst dude instead of this attack against Raiden Temple. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. He's fighting Cole. Melina's fighting Sonya Blade, and Jax is fighting the general dude. I think. Yeah, it was just a whole mess in there. Um, Kung Lao tries to take on Shang Tsung. He throws his hat at him. He dodges it, and he's just like, "Oh, you gonna attack me?" And then Motara, the vampire lady, tries to go after Kung Lao. Kung Lao is just like, "Don't worry, bitch. I got this." And he sits there and he focuses. And as he's focusing, Motara lady goes for like a dive at him. And as she's diving at him, he like calls back his hat and he like flings it to the ground and he sticks it in the ground. And then she's swooping in at him, and he jumps up in the air and he like pins it to the ground, and he grinds her head against the ground into his spinning hat that cuts her in half, and then proceeds to say flawless victory. And I was just like, dude, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. You know what I mean? That was so sick. love to see it again. At the same time, I wanted to see that Motara lady do some actual fighting or something. I don't know, anything. And then Melina jacks up Sonya Blade. She gets like punched out. She falls over and gets like trapped under a rock. And then it goes back to Cole fighting Goro, and then he's like getting beat up, and then his wife comes and helps him, and then she's like gonna get attacked by Goro, and then it comes his power upgrade, and it's basically just like a metal clothing type of thing that like goes around his gets like magically like put on his body, and he's able to now take punches from Garo and fight him evenly 1-on-1. And it's just like, what is happening right now? This is what you guys are doing. This is what you're going for. And as it's fighting, like he gains like little swords on his arm, and then he like cuts off one of Goro's arms, and then like he slashes him up his gut, and his guts spill out, and then he stabs him in his eyeball, and he kills him, and it's just like way overkill, but whatever, whatever at this point. And then it switches back to Jax, and he finds Sonya Blade. He's like knocked out, and then he finds Sonya Blade under the rock, and he's like trying to save her, and then as he's saving her, he's struggling, and then his arms are breaking. Then all of a sudden, the magic comes out of his body and into his arms, into his metal arms, and he gets magical cyborg arms that are super strong. And he lifts up the rock and he throws it, and he saves Sonya Blade. And it's just like, what the hell? What? What? Those are like mechanically put on him. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, they don't just magic on him. I don't get it. This movie is just like taking like the main series and just like bending it over and raping it sadistically, and it's not fair. It's not fair, and it's not right. I don't approve. Then Kung Lao starts fighting Shang Tsung, and Cole is teleported back to the temple just enough time to witness. Oh, well, Liu Kang just runs in, and he's just enough time to witness Shang Tsung suck out Kung Lao's soul, and Cole gets there just enough time to stop Liu Kang from stopping him. When it's like they had plenty of time, he could have shot him with a fireball. He could have ran over there, like super kicked him. But like he stood at the edge and like watched the whole thing happen, like literally like disintegrate into a skeleton. Like, bro, you had plenty of time. You're Liu Kang. You can fly and kick at the same time. You can do a bicycle kick. You can shoot fireball high and low. Like, come on, bro. What is happening? What is happening? You didn't utilize any of those techniques. You just stood there and watched. But Raiden comes along, teleports him out of there, all out of there to the void, and that's when they're like, "Alright, now we got this super plan. Alright? So this is what we're gonna do. Sonya, you're gonna go fight Kano, because you already fought him before in the desert. You beat him. Alright, you're gonna take him out, right? Jax, you're gonna go fight the journal dude with the hammer. And Cole, you can go fight Melina. Because, yeah, you can just go fight Melina. And Liu Kang, you can go fight Cabal." Raiden's like, "Before you go, Cole, I'm going to give you this Hanzo Hasashi dagger, alright? It's part of his family. And it's going to be, his soul's going to be in there. He's going to fight with you. Soul will be fighting with you, man." And it's like, alright, word. Cool. Let's see where this goes. And so they all teleports them all back to their, like, separate fights. And then, so, yeah. Sonya Blade's fighting Kano. They're duking it out, doing their thing. And then she takes, well, they're doing the things. He starts choking her out, and he's just like, "How does this feel, baby?" She takes the thing, and she, like, jags it in his eye, kills him, and he loses his dragon tattoo, and it goes on to Sonya Blade, and she, like, like, laughs about it, and it's just, like, it's a super awkward, like, weird situation. And then, it pans over to Jax, and he's, like, fighting the other dude, and he's, like, they're going back and forth, and it's, like, not even a challenge, really. Jax just beats the shit out of him, and then, like, he claps his hands, and then, like, on his head, and he blows it up, and he's just like, "Yeah, these arms will work." And it's just like, yeah, dude, you just, like, clapped some dude's head off. Like, I'm sure those arms work pretty damn well. Then it goes over to Cole fighting Melina, and then he's having like a hard time with her because it's Melina and she's a psycho. And then in comes Sonya Blade, like circle spinning, kicking in. It reminded me of Annihilation when Sub Zero rolls in on the ice thing, like just like skeeting in there. Yeah, Sonya Blade does the same thing, except she just spin kicks into the scene, and he's just a little help, and Sonya Blade's like, "I got this, bro." So Cole like throws her. Sonya Blade like shoots her with her purple beam thing and like blows a hole right through her, and he's like, "Well, that was pretty sweet." She's like, "Yeah, it's a parting gift from Kano." It's just like you just automatically know how to use your powers. Like everyone else had to go through this hardship. She just knows. It's like a Dragon Ball Super situation. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, just like nothing makes sense. Everything is permitted. Whatever. Whatever at this point. So with that done, it pans over to Liu Kang and he's fighting Cabal. They going back and forth, and Cabal's super speed, and he's just using it like every which way, nonstop. Instead of just like special moves, he's just like, no, super speed, 24/7. Which is pretty beast. Cabal is pretty beast in this movie. And then Liu Kang gets him stuck. And then while he's stuck, he does his fire dragon technique and like he marks him. And then he stands back and he goes, "For you, Kung Lao, fatality." And it's just like, dude, really? You fatality the wrong dude. Shang Tsung killed him, took his soul in front of your eyes less than like 10 minutes ago. Come on, bro. What is happening? Why? How? When? Director, you suck. Who wrote this movie? You suck. Whoever shot this movie? You suck. You worked on this movie? You suck. Why? You just made a mockery of this whole series. You should have just done Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11, the game series. You should have started that as a movie series, and it would have been. It's great. It's perfect. It's a great series. Like it would work perfectly fine. I don't know why you wouldn't do that, but you chose to do this. Beautiful. It's amazing. Fucking terrible. So they all win their fights, and then it pans over to Cole's family, and they're at this house. They're like grabbing a bunch of stuff, and then Sub Zero sneaks in on them, and they're like, "Oh, yeah." Sub Zero kidnaps Cole's family, then to teleport back to Raiden's temple to taunt Cole to fight him 1-on-1, which Cole does because he sees Raiden crunch like a bracelet that belonged to his daughter, and then he runs to the portal to fight Sub-Zero. And for the one reason, I don't know why he had to do that. He probably could have just done it on his own. You know what I mean? Just kicked him into his portal, brought him in there on his But yeah, whatever. We needed to go this right. Well, he needed to have his family there. So they're fighting, they're duking it out, and as a Sub-Zero and Cole fighting, he pulls out Hanzo's dagger and it begins to glow red, and then all of a sudden the chain linked dagger comes out of nowhere and hits Sub-Zero from behind, and it's Scorpion. He just came out of nowhere, and it's just like he's literally there and starts fighting with Sub-Zero, and it's just like, dude, I thought you would like saying like metaphorically like Sub-Zero's like soul is gonna be with you, and like you're gonna fully transform the rest of his suit into like a Sub-Zero like Scorpion suit, and he's gonna become like Scorpion, and that was gonna be like the thing. But no, they didn't do that. He just has like this weird costume with like arm dagger things, and Scorpion is just Scorpion. Scorpion's like, I came back from hell to kill you, bro. And it's just like, okay, here we go with this. And so then they start fighting. And then Cole's like, all right, cool. You guys are distracted. I'm going to go try and save my family. So he starts punching the ice that's locked his family in. And he's going, he's punching, he's going, fighting. And there's a fight scene between Sub-Zero and Scorpion that's pretty good. And then Cole finally realizes after trying to punch it for like 2 minutes straight that it's not going to work. And then he tries to run over his kid, but he has to run by Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting, so he has to jump into that. He starts fighting two-way with that, tries to punch out his daughter, realizes like, oh well, if I kill Sub-Zero or fight Sub-Zero, maybe this will end. So they go and tag team Sub-Zero, and then finally they finish him off. And Cole's able to save his family, and then Scorpion's like, thanks, bro. Carry on the bloodline for me. Going back to hell, deuces, and he takes off. And then, like, Cole somehow transported back to Raiden because he automatically knows where everything is and all this whatever. And then Shang Tsung pops up and he's like, yo, bros, it ain't over yet. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get some new peeps and we're gonna duke it out again in the action tournament. Because, you know, the Elder Gods just said screw it. And they still haven't acted upon this transgression. It's supposed to be this huge thing. But whatever. It just doesn't. It's depressing. And then the end of the movie, like, it goes back to Cole and his little, like, his gym where that old dude pops up. He's just like, hey, yo, Cole, you know, man, I got another job for you, man. $200 for a fight. And Cole's like, I don't do that anymore. I want to do new things. Because Raiden's like, you guys need to go out and find new chosen ones. And that's what he does. And the movie ends with Cole walking by a poster of none other than Johnny Cage. And the movie ends. And it's just like, you gotta be kidding me. You want to make a sequel to this. This is like the Dragon Ball evolution of Mortal Kombat. I would dare say that Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a better movie than this. I can at least enjoy Annihilation because it's like so bad that it's good at some points. Like, I just can't deal with everything in this movie. Like, besides the fighting and fatalities, which is like, yeah, that's what you're going to see the movie for. But at the same time, I was expecting a little something. I mean, anything? Something? Just a smidge? Maybe. But alas, we are left with this pile dog heap crap of whatever the hell Mortal Kombat you want to call this. It's crap. Mortal crap cap. Whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It's terrible. It's a horrible movie. I give it 3 out of 10. And 2.9 of that is from fatalities. The other 0.1% is Kano. Like, come on, really? Yeah, that's all I have to say today. I just need to try and wrap my head around this. I'll try and watch it one more time and see how I feel, but I don't think my opinion's going to change much. God almighty. But yeah, if you're new here, that's Bomb TV. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I love you. Like and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to comment down below.